And I know that Purge does as well. Purge values every follower he gets because he's a nice lad.
I do, guys.
Purge is a lad.
Please
Purge.
feed me.
I like you. You're all right. You're all right, Purge.
I like you too, man.
You're all right. I think as first dates go, this one's been pretty successful. You know, I've never been able to keep it going for 3 hours and 20 minutes on a first. I mean, me and you, Purge. Good stuff.
The stream's never going off, let's be real. It's gonna be Monday by the time we're done here.
If this next game goes on nearly as long as that one, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. But I don't think it's going to be legal. Right. Are we going to get this? What are we waiting for? Cloud9. Okay, he's ready. They're ready. Purge. We're going to a game 3.
How do we analyze Dota after analyzing that game? Everything's gonna be so different. It's like, wait, I die to creeps? That's possible?
It is going to be a little bit of a change. That is for certain. Right, let's get the draft screen on. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. I'm just going to go get myself a drink. Is that going to be all right, Purge? Are you going to be all right on your own? Just for 2 seconds.
I'll sit here and not do anything.
That's all right. Just tell chat you love them. I'll see you guys in a bit. Right, be right back. 1 second. Right, Purge, did you miss me?
Yeah, totally, man.
Oh, I really felt that, Purge. Thank you. Right. Right, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it good for the VOD. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's forget that happened. Let's get us back. They were resetting. Let's reset ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Summit. This is StarLadder Season 12. This is a best of 3 between Cloud9 and SFZ. This is the deciding game. First game went to Cloud9. Second game, as we just saw, did go to SFZ. Scary faces. My name's ODPixel. I'm very, very fortunate enough to be joined today by Purge Gamers, who's I'm sure he's absolutely ecstatic to be by my side. And
yo, think of the drama that's going to be going on in this next game. If you guys are watching VODs or something like that, check out the game before this one, before I spoil this to you. But we just watched a 200-minute game between these two guys that was essentially the same game for the last 50 minutes of that. There was 150 minutes of the same thing happening, and these teams have got to be so angry. This is going to be an emotional third game to see who wins this set.
It is. I mean, you don't want to go into a game, into a set, have a game as long as that, and then lose the set. It would be, I don't know, tears will be shed. Anyway, so Zeus, a little bit of a knockback to the previous game, picked up his first pick now for the side of Cloud9, and what we saw in the last game. Scary faces. You've got to be honest. The Zeus late game with the percentage-based damage being dealt to the creeps, he offered a lot in terms of defense, didn't he?
Yeah, it's great towards killing creeps because it bounces up to 15 times, not to mention they do reduce HP due to his passive. So Zeus is great at destroying creeps as they come into the base. You can do it from relative safety, and once they're that late in the game, you have so much mana regen. You just sit there. You're just shooting out lightning bolts.
Yep. It's nice and simple, and it gets the job done. And, well, the ban's coming out. Cloud9, sticking with what they don't like. The sniper gets banned out after that little bit of a performance from Scary Faces in the last game. Primo's going to be the second ban. And the Scary Faces bans themselves. Pretty much standard stuff against Cloud9. Get rid of the Io. Get rid of the Batrider.
I don't even know how to talk about Dota anymore, man. What do we do? What do you pick? Should we start drafting heroes around the 120-minute power curve mark or something? I don't. What do you do? What if it gets to that point, guys? Maybe we should pick 4 cores. Then we'd have way more strength than our opponents. How do you pick like a normal person anymore? Is it even possible?
I don't know. I think certainly taking their times here, trying to compose themselves and pick as sensibly as they can. Right. And
they're
that's
actually taking a lot of time.
Shadow Fiend. Oh, wow. They needed to take that long to figure they were going to pick Shadow Fiend and Vengeful Spirit. I'm disappointed.
At least it's new heroes. I'm happy for new heroes. We didn't see Venge last game. We didn't see Shadow Fiend. Both of them have really good damage amp abilities. Shadow Fiend has a minus armor aura, and Venge has a plus damage aura to herself and a minus damage if she dies to her opponents. So the two heroes together can end up doing a lot of damage to opponents. Not to mention Venge also has a minus armor wave with her wave of tear, so she has two good ways to benefit her team's damage, to accelerate their damage. And with Shadow Fiend, we're talking about a lot of synergy. So those heroes are alive and doing right clicks. That's a lot of damage for Scary Faces.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shadow Fiend Venge, great combo from the off. Cloud9, second pick, they pick up the line, and I think it was in the first game. Was it Misery? I can't remember, that was playing some amazing line with Purge. Can you believe that game that we saw Line pick up the MKB? That was today,
That was like
Purge.
yesterday.
That was today.
He played an amazing game. Misery had like a fantastic game when he played so well. He was so far ahead, he was able to buy a Shadow Blade and make it worth it completely, because he got out such an early time that it was like he started playing a mid-line role and got a lot of pickoffs with it and stuff like that. So I can't wait to see if Misery does well again. I mean, maybe he's drained after playing 200 minutes of try to hit the one building Dota, but who knows?
Yeah, it's a strong, but ban out on Night Stalker. We've seen Cloud9 do that for the third game in the series in a row. Again, something that I guess they're aware that Scary Faces might like to run themselves, and as you said 4 hours ago, it is a cheese strap. And it's something that maybe these underdog kind of teams might be able to sneak past these big established names like Cloud9. Third ban now for the side of Scary Faces. It's going to be the Phantom Lancer. We obviously saw the power of the Eternal Envy Phantom Lancer in the first game. It wasn't nice
that today?
at all.
Oh my god. That actually feels so long ago. Again, Night Stalker ban. Who's the other cheesy hero they banned in the second round in the previous game? Earthshaker is great late game support. Stuns are obviously very good to controlling your opponents, especially if you can go in before they use Black King Bar. So, and and maybe once in a while you'll be able to pick up a Daedalus and a Rapier and an Abyssal Blade as well. You never know.
Yeah, and well, the fact that they banned the PL as well maybe needs to make Cloud9 think of their draft. I mean, so far, magical damage, it's all they've got. Maybe, I was going to say maybe they pick up the Huskar. No, they're going to pick up a Medusa. And what sadistic
Aiming for the
picks a Medusa after a 3 hour 20 minute game? So we're going to have a Medusa. So what do you think about that, Purge? Works very nice with the Shadow Fiend, works very nice in lane with the Vengeful Spirit. Can't wait.
They have a decent counter in line. It's not amazing, but it can be a possibility. When you're mana draining Medusa, you're actually doing damage. If you look at how much damage per mana you get out of Mana Shield, it's 2.5. So if we imagine draining 120 mana per second, it's basically like doing a Aghanim's Pugna ulti to Medusa. It's the same amount of damage essentially. It's really good. So that's assuming line has 4 points in mana drain. That's a lot of damage output. It's a way to counter Medusa. Reducing her mana, especially before she ultis, is great because it prevents her from... I mean, that's the main reason she's picked. She's a super late game hero, and she also has a very good team fight ability. And team fight with late game allows you to defend Rax pushes and put the game and continue the game until you snowball, get EXP advantage, and eventually your Medusa has so much farm that your opponents can't really deal with it. So what Cloud9 want to do is they want to stomp so hard that they don't let them get to that point, or preferably just team fight really properly when they do go high ground and win those fights. Catch Medusa before she ultis, for example.
Yes, yeah, it is nice in that sense. And obviously Jug against it. Do you build the Diffusal ever when you're playing against the Medusa, or do you think that's just a wasted slot?
It's not a bad idea because it's the same principle. For every point of mana drain, you're actually getting 2.5 points of damage value. Not to mention that they also take physical damage. I think 60% of the mana burn you're doing. So if we think about how much value that is, if you're doing 25 mana drain, you're getting 0.6 of that with right click. That's like 14 damage, 15 damage. Plus you're getting 25 times 2.5, which is like another 60. So you're really getting like a Diffusal Blade against a Medusa is actually like a 100 damage item. That's amazing for 300 gold. Or for 3,000 gold. It's actually a really good item. So it's an opportunity. I mean, that's assuming she has mana, of course. If she runs out of mana, it does way less. But that's really where Medusa is scary, is having mana pool. So once you do the math on it, mana drains are fantastic versus Medusa. That's why we see a lot of heroes like Quasvex Invoker, at least in pubs. It doesn't happen that much in programs. So Quasvex Invoker is good. Nyx Assassin works as well. Just draining the mana while doing damage is stupidly effective against Medusa.
And Phoenix is going to be the selection now for Cloud9, so the fourth pickup, and almost certainly going to be their off-lane hero. And also, interestingly enough, I don't know if it's kind of a pick ban, because Medusa Phoenix, that is a combo and a half. You know, if you're able to get the Supernova off and kind of bait the enemy team into start hitting you, get your Medusa underneath, pop the Stone Gaze, then the team, it's very easy to catch them off guard where they're in a situation like, now it's fine, just keep right-clicking the egg, we're going to be able to bring it down, but at the same time, they're going to get hit by the Stone Gaze, and then suddenly the team fight isn't going great. Phoenix obviously gets the stun. The damage doesn't go through, but the stun will last after the duration of the stone. And, I mean, maybe they're stopping that. Like, obviously, the clockwork's been picked up, so it's okay. It's incredibly unlikely. I'm getting sorry. They wouldn't pick Phoenix.
It is a bit of a weird Phoenix pick here. I agree with that. The only counter argument to that is that Scary Faces, while they have good right click, which is good against Phoenix Egg also counters right click with her second skill, or his second skill. I don't know what sex it is, but the Fire Spirit's reduced attack speed, and that's most of Scary Faces DPS right now, especially on the Medusa. And Medusa doesn't often move very much in team fights, so if Phoenix can just continuously apply Fire Spirits to Medusa, it's really going to lower her AoE DPS, and the same will go for Shadow Fiend as well. So there's some counters and there's some anti counters that you get from it. So
yeah, and the final ban, Storm Spirit. Take that out against the Shadow Fiend. It's not really a very favourable matchup for the SF. I guess, again, it's one of those matchups that up until level 6, Shadow Fiend, does he do all right against the Storm Spirit, or am I totally wrong and Storm Spirit runs circles around him?
Pre-6, you're saying?
Pre-6, yeah.
Yeah, pre-6, Shadow Fiend is great because normally Storm wants to put himself between the close to the creep wave, that way he gets more value out of his remnant. But if he ever does that, Shadow Fiend just raises him in. So Shadow Fiend has huge AoE magic damage, and he has good right click. So if Storm wants to go in and farm efficiently, he's going to have to endanger getting raised. So pre-6, Storm doesn't have the easiest time against Shadow Fiend. He does have the bonus of being able to use Overload to do more right-click damage, so he can sometimes CS better than Shadow Fiend. But the best heroes for Storm to have an advantage is melee heroes. So Shadow Fiend is pretty good against Storm. After 6, though, Shadow Fiend's got to be really careful, because if any hero comes by for a gank, Storm's going to get right on top of him. You'll have a follow-up of Nuke, and it should be a dead SF. So it's scary pre-6 for Storm, or at least he can't farm as efficiently as he wants to, but after 6, it's good for Storm.
Okay, so now final pick for Scary Faces. They obviously still need an extra support. It's going to be the classic Venge Scarif combo, but obviously works very nicely with the Clockwork as well, with the cogs. And also in the sense that heroes, I guess like the Lion and the Zeus, you're going to be able to kite out on the back of the fight with the Arcane bolts and concussive shots, Ancient sealing them up. And also Juggernaut, a hero that's not really going to be looking to get a BKB very early on. You can catch him out quite nicely with a Scarif, can't you?
Yeah, I'd actually argue that every single one of the heroes on Cloud9 does not want to be silenced. Phoenix wants to egg if you can silence and prevents it. Juggernaut needs to spin to become magic immune. Lion is probably just better killing rather than silencing in most cases, and Zeus is kind of a similar thing. But if you can prevent it, see, there it is, more mana drain. Okay. Really good drafts from both teams, I think. I like the Skywrath combo. It synergizes well with their other heroes. Venge is good with Medusa. If Medusa gets too focused, you can swap out of danger. Same goes for Shadow Fiend. And Cloud9 just has really good team fights, lots of mana drain, tons of AoE damage, and a good early draft that should allow them to dominate the lanes pretty well. It's going to come down to how well Lion Room, I guess this is a support Nyx Assassin, which is almost never picked right now, but against Medusa, it's worth it. If you get big mana burn levels and you're draining him for like 600 mana, that's actually like a 1800 damage nuke. That's amazing for a 4-second cooldown. Like, it's such a good counter. But the hard part is integrating it into their strategies. They may not practice it often. It may not be something they run very much. No. And it's not played very often right now. And if Nyx Assassin is played, I usually see it as an offlane. At least that's how he was last played when he was in the metagame. So putting Phoenix as a support is also a possibility, but Phoenix is an offlane, so it makes me think they're going to force him into a support role, which may throw a kink into their ability to play. It is going to be support Phoenix after all.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I like it. It's something that we don't see all the time, in the sense that, yeah, as you said, normally putting that off-lane role, and I guess the fact it's a Medusa, it's not a melee carry that's going to be in the safe lane, means that the Phoenix isn't going to be as effective as it could be in some other things, and that's marketing for Twitter followers. I tell you what, that game literally doubled my Twitter followers, so
Did
thank
it really?
you.
Oh,
yeah, I went from 1,000 to 2,000. It's the best feeling ever. I just want to say thanks to everyone who followed me. It's crazy. I'm having so much fun, and I can't believe I'm doing it with Purge at my side. Do
you have your email notifications off? I'm worried about your Gmail right now.
Oh,
man.
God.
Is that gonna be okay?
Oh, I can't even. Please stop following me. I think I've got them off. Why am I looking at net worth? Oh, it's too early. Good. Last hits. Right, let's get into the game. Game 3 between Scary Faces and C9. This is StarLadder Season 12. You're watching on Beyond the Summit. And, deciding game. And you're with me, ODPixel. I'm joined by my very, very beautiful co-caster Purge today. And on the side of the Radiant, we're going to see Clutcher. He's going to be on the off-lane Clockwork. Mid lane, it's going to be State21, this time on the Shadow Fiend. Down in the tri-lane, it's going to be Shadow Air on the Vengeful, Eknart on the support Skyraf, and it's going to be Quiztar on the carrier Medusa. Purge, do you want to go ahead and tell me what's going on the side of the dial with Cloud9?
Yeah, on the offlane for Cloud9, we got Bone7 playing Nyx Assassin, so we'll be offlane Nyx Assassin. Mid lane, it's going to be played by Fada, playing the Zeus. Plays a very good Zeus, gets a lot of farm, benefits the hero a lot. On the top lane, Eternal Envy is going to be playing Juggernaut. And in the jungle roles, or the support roles, Misery is going to be playing Lion with a Phoenix played by Big Daddy No Tail. So most likely going to be a pretty starved Phoenix, but I think you can get away with it on the hero. The only downside is you really want levels, because you want to get more levels of your egg up, so it's harder for your opponents to kill you during that. So we'll see how greedy Misery gets to play this game, since they do have that support. Misery doing a great job here, blocking the range creep. This is really important to do. It's something most people don't notice, but what it does is it keeps the equilibrium very normal. Most supports are going to be able to block that if you do pay attention to the fact that Clock is going to be able to do that. So really nice play by Misery as well.
This is going to be a disgusting lane for Clockwork, isn't it? Against a Lion and a Phoenix giving you back. It's going to be so hard for him to find levels. In return, looking at the off lane on the side of C9, obviously this Bone7 Nyx. Again, not too nice. I mean, it's up against a Skyraf and Avenge, two very strong supports, but two supports as well that I'd imagine we'll see Skyraf and Avenge be quite mobile this game, would you reckon, and maybe look for ganks elsewhere across the map?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of easy ganks here. The Zeus doesn't have a very good escape, so he's definitely a hero that he would love to go on. No Tail messing up his pull a little bit, which might actually mess up the whole creep equilibrium thing here. He's trying to be a little too greedy with his tricks, and he ended up not getting it in time, so pretty unfortunate for him. He's going to have to do a side pull to make up for this, and it's really important they do this because they want to make sure that the Clockwork stays level 1. If they can keep Clockwork down at level 1 for a very long time, it's going to give their team a really good advantage, because look at the SFZ's draft. They've got supports that can roam really well. But other than those guys, that's it. It's Clockwork. If Clockwork's still level 1, you're not going to get any roaming from him, and it should be C9 able to pressure a lot and make a lot of space around the map, while both the Medusa and the Shadow Fiend are just scrambling to try to get farm and not get killed. So it's very important that they keep this Clockwork level 1 and keep that creep equilibrium and under control.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw already how bad a time Clockwork's having. He had to head to the rune 30 seconds in advance. He might not even get it. Nah, he's got the cogs. He's got it. He might die, though. Oh, that stun. How did it catch him? Oh, it did,
Oh, he's
though.
in so much trouble.
Oh, this could be first blood here, Purge. They're chasing him down with the right click, and the damage over time from the spirits. Clutcher, is he going to tick out? Surely the South. No, it goes through the damage because the damage isn't enough to cancel the regen. So, well, lucky to get away from that.
15 damage a second on the first Fire Spirits is very low. It needs to be, I think, above 20 before you can break consumables.
I think it's 20,
things like
isn't
that.
it? Yeah.
It's somewhere around there, because I know, actually, level 1 Rot does it do it now, I can't remember.
But level 1 Husker, he can't cancel sales with the level 1 spears. I know that at least, and I don't know how much damage that is, but but there are a few spells. There are a few spells that damage over time that don't stop the sales, and yeah, that saved his backside there. He's going to look to the jungle and maybe create some stacks for the Shadow Fiend. Just try and be as useful as he can at this point. But as you said, this is going to be a Clockwork he's not, I don't know. I mean, how do you come back as a Clockwork? Do you really just look for those walk-in cogs ganks?
I guess you're pretty reliant on your opponents messing up their equilibrium, because you can't farm the jungle like a Bat Rider can or an Axe can. So either he has to right-click jungle camps to get like level 2 or something. I mean, he could go to the top lane and maybe continuously cog, and hopefully that'll mess up the equilibrium. But I mean, these are pro-level supports. These guys aren't going to mess up their pulls very often. And even if they do, they're going to focus and realize their error, and they're going to immediately try to solve that. So he's going to be channeling his experience essentially into Shadow Fiend in the mid game. And then when the wave eventually pushes, at some point the pull gets messed up, the supports go somewhere else, whatever, then he'll finally get levels, and he can try to catch up then by getting kills. So either ganking is a possibility, stacking for other people to make use of his time to give them levels, and then maybe sit by those camps when they get cleared. That's another option. Say, oh, SF's clearing this 4 stack that I made for him, I'm going to sap experience and get level 3 out of it. And once he gets level 3, he can probably do a lot more in his lane.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what he's able to achieve. Again, just having to sit around there, just go and stack the Ancients. So yeah, more potential farm being created, obviously for the Medusa as well, when she starts to look to rotate and clear out the stacks. Talking about rotations, Big Daddy and Misery, seeing if they can find a Clockwork. I think they're aware that he's still level 1, and this would be a fairly easy kill if they're able to get the jump on him. Misery just scouting out, but a lot of pings coming from the Clockwork himself. He knows that they're there. They do have Radiant Observer Ward, so He has seen the rotation, and he's just going to be having to play very careful. But here's Misery. Coming in with a few right clicks. There's not really the rest of his team coming that deep to dive on that one. But he's going to be able to keep the clock back. And as the dire creep wave dies to the tower, able to hinder, the amount of XP the clock gets from it. And by the looks of it, Misery, he should be able to stop Clutcher from getting anything from this push.
Yeah, Sky's rotating over as well. Maybe a little bit late to this because they could have helped bully the line back at the same time. I like where Misery's hiding. This is really smart. He cogged to try to catch him. He gets spotted. This is really bad for Misery. He's going to get blocked in. He's got one Tango, gets out. There's the slow, one stun on the Skywrath Mage, and maybe a dive, but with Venture as well, things get extra dangerous. More spirits going down. There's the spin. That should be a kill on Sky. First blood going down to Eternal Envy.
Yeah, first blood to the Juggernaut. He's been having free farm all game. It's definitely a strong start to C9. And I think with this push as well, they might just take this tier 1. Fortification's already been popped.
Now,
yeah, there's no way they can stop this.
They're gonna have to tank a little bit of damage maybe, because the Vengeance gonna be able to come up, creeps come up, Wave of Terror actually completely whiffs. Eternal Envy's gonna have to take some hits to the face for this. It's actually not deniable, so they back off just in time. If they had a catapult, that would have gone down, but it was gone. And in fact, No Tail actually pulled immediately. Really good foresight from him. He expected it not to finish, so he immediately pulled so that the wave can get back under control. That way they don't get a bunch of free experience. Clockwork can't come up, get 2 free levels as that wave dies. Really nicely done. And they get a bit of extra, and it's going to stack these camps now, or the pulls. He's going to have 2 creep waves on the next push, and that should guarantee that they get the tower.
Yeah, some really, really good support control of this lane here coming from Cloud9, and yes, working out at the moment. Juggernaut farming to his heart's delight. Midas, 6 minutes in, it's going to be picked up by the Medusa and popped. So we're seeing a 6-minute Midas timing, not too bad at all on the old Juicer. And I mean, do you think picking up the Midas on the Medusa is the best option this game?
It's a little weird actually. Look at his skill build. He's actually gone all in on stats. They get the top tower, but the Midas is going to accelerate his next couple items, I guess, but I don't know if he needs it. I feel like he already farms pretty rapidly. I guess if he goes to stat build, he'll need it. Oh, might see a dead clock in the mid, but he has used ulti already. And I like what the Radiant team did there. When SF went to the jungle, Clock went mid to get levels. That's the lane rotation thing that you sometimes have to do when somebody's really behind. It's pretty common for SF to leave the mid lane to go jungle though, and he can farm quite fast there, and Clockwork is getting way more than he would have in the jungle, so this is beneficial. Yeah,
I mean, it's still not an awful lot. Still just sitting at level 3 at the moment, coming up to 7 minutes in, and it's going to be this Shadow Fiend picking up the treads as the first time. Eternal Envy, 1 creep away from hitting that Omni Slash. Yeah. Whoever comes into this lane needs to be careful. And he just applying the pressure, because I think he knows, yeah, if anyone comes in for a gank, unless it's the Skywrath and they get off a clutch Ancient Seal, he's going to be able to jump on them. And, well, Skywrath's not got any points to the Ancient Seal as of yet. About to hit level 4. I mean, do you pick it up at this stage, or do you just not get it at this point?
Yeah, definitely. You need
level
at least
4.
1 point by 4. You can get it 3, you can sometimes get it 2, just kind of depends what you're playing against. Against the Nyx Assassin, you're not going to really do a whole lot. I'd like to point out that the levels on the offlane for C9 is way different than what it's for the Radiant team. So we'll probably see, once Nyx finishes like an Arcane Boots or something like that, we'll probably see him move a little bit around the map. Maybe a bottle instead if he wants to, but he's closer to Arcane. We'll see him move around, probably go for some kills, and we're going to need the Radiant team support, especially to start putting some sentries down the lanes where they're expecting ganks, mainly mid. Because the Shadow Fiend, if he does get stunned, he's going to have a really tough time staying alive.
I mean, talking about expecting ganks, Vengeful and Clock, they had their eyes on the mid lane, but Zeus just a little bit too far back. They're going to be able to grab the 8-minute rune. Zeus ult coming out, though. They know exactly where SFZ are.
That's a lot of scouting Zeus ults this game. That's 2 already. Basically, as soon as he gets off cooldown, he casts it. And I think the reason they're doing this is probably because the Radiant supports are being a little shifty, but most importantly, they know that they're ahead right now. And I haven't checked the graphs, but I assume they are. They think they're ahead right now, so they're just trying to make sure they don't get ganked. Because they know that they're about to get a big power curve with Nyx Assassin ganking. They've got Omni Slash, all that good stuff. They're feeling in a good spot right now, and they just want to make sure the game continues as it is going.
Yeah, and I guess, at the moment, just ensuring that Eternal Envy is safe on the Juggernaut. And, those ults are going to do exactly that. And he's going to be clearing up these camps that have been stacked for him. And, the farm is looking pretty scary on this Juggernaut at this point. Shadow Fiend, the 1 parallel at the moment. He's still got a lead in terms of CS. And he's going to be able to clear up the jungle camps as well. And a bit of safety rather than heading back to the mid lane, which, as you said, still allowing Clutcher to try and get what he can. But he gets bursted down, and Clutcher on the clockwork has to go back to base. Doesn't want to stay around for much longer.
Yeah, he's only level 3. He's not going to be useful for quite a while here. I mean, if he gets on top of maybe Zeus or Lion, it could be kind of dangerous. But those are really the only 2 heroes that he can kill. Maybe a Nyx Assassin if Nyx is caught. Maybe a gank on Nyx here. He gets silenced. He might be able to pop his Spike Carapace here. There's a Spike Carapace, reflects some damage. Maybe
on the
turn,
TPs.
yes, no tail comes in.
He's got the stun. Oh, and there's the
Good
ult as
egg,
well.
Really good egg.
Yeah.
That's a dead Medusa, actually.
That is a big kill as well if he has the stun. The stun's going to get her. Yeah.
Super big kill.
I think
we can maybe criticize Medusa's lack of spell shield. She only has 1 point in it right now. She does have stats, but she got shredded there. She did cast her ulti, and that was most of her mana pool, but that was really good execution, and a mana burn as well from Bone 7 as soon as the Supernova started. That just wrecked her.
It didn't help her at all, just having the 1 point in it. And as you said, clutch Supernova and showing that she couldn't get out after chain stunning her out. With these two heroes and 3 for 0 so far, going for C9. And all at the same time, a game where Eternal Envy on the Juggernaut getting ever more scary. TPing back to base, what's he going for now? He's just got the phase, the boots. Phase boots, sorry. Mask of Madness and Aquila. And the courier. Was something on the courier on his way to him? No, not at this moment in time. And now the bottle actually as well. So
yeah, he loves bottles on carries. It's a good choice if you don't want to buy a regen item. One other thing I want to point out about that, the only reason that was able to happen was because No Tail was so efficient on his support play here that he hit level 6 at that point. If he didn't have his ulti, they weren't going to get that kill no matter what. So that was really impressive that he was able to pull it well enough and get a little bit of solo experience and then eventually hit level 6. Now he's level 7. He's super highly leveled here. That means he's going to be able to impact really well for the rest of the game.
Yeah, the impact is certainly going to be going the way of C9. And I mean, for this part of the game, do they, you know, for the large part of it, keep Juggernaut out of the fights, or do they look to kind of run it aggressive and get himself in there at this point?
They definitely can, because again, they're against a Medusa, and Medusa bottom Midas, and there's a Shadow Fiend as well. That's two heroes that are going to farm really hard. And not to mention, they have pretty good team fight and scaling to the late game with Venge and Skywrath Mage and Clockwork. Those are pretty good for team fight. So they don't want this game to go far. They really don't. Clock's catching up a bit now. He's level 5, almost level 6, but all he has is a chainmail. So him contributing is going to be pretty unlikely, at least not in a major way. I mean, if they can get Omni Slashes, that's great. But for now, they're just going to get a lot of space. They're probably going to ward up. They actually
look at this.
Going for a kill.
Yeah, Eternal Envy leading the charge. Omni Slash is ready. Medusa actually... Oh, she's got enough mana now for the Stone Gaze. And she might need to pop it if she comes into mid lane. Oh, that's a big Supernova. Look at that stun. Look at that finger. They just blow up. Eternal Envy. Is he going to be able to survive? Yes, the Blade Fury lasts long enough to protect him from the incoming missile from Skywrath. But, oh boy, I think C9, they woke up after that last game and now they're playing back on form. They are back, and that's the tier 1.
They're playing really well right now. That was such a great gank. You can maybe criticize the Shadow Fiend for not spending his money. Maybe he would have had a Blink Dagger, part of a Yule's. That wouldn't have saved him, honestly. But really big stun. I like how Misery wrapped around this way. He came around from behind the tower. You had Bone 7 go this way. You had Phoenix come from this way. They just didn't know how to react to it. It wasn't as straightforward. So he dropped stuns on multiple heroes and all the AoE damage just
Look at this. Clock with an Invis. Can he find anything, though? He's trying to get some kind of positioning. There's going to be a hook shot onto Misery. Misery will get bursted down almost certainly. Oh, he's still alive. He manages to get himself out of the cogs. They've already lost the Sky off the side of SFZ, and they're going to lose the clock here as well. There's a blinking from Bone. Now, here comes your Stone Gaze. C9, they just turn and run. Apart from Lion, he gets caught out by it. It will go down. And Warfata taking a fair bit of damage. Can they find a magic missile? 3 seconds until it's off, but no, they won't be able to close the gap. And at the end of the day, it's a quick little trade, and 7 for 1 on the board. Looking at the fight recap, of course, Skywrath and Clockwork went down. They do lose the Lion, though. But, I mean, C9 at this point, they're pretty far ahead. XP coming up to 4k. Gold-wise, it's coming up to about 7.5k, 13 minutes in, which is a big difference.
Yeah, that was the first kill. It's pretty tough from here. Even Phoenix is picking up a Null Talisman, most likely going to be a Veil, because it synergizes so well with their team. They have 4 heroes that do a lot of magic damage. And I want to look at Misery's skill build as well. He's got a really weird skill build. Normally I'd criticize the hell out of this, but in this game against Medusa, we already did the math. If you get 4 levels of mana drain, it just wrecks the Medusa. It does so much damage. It does far more than the extra stun duration and the extra damage out of Earth Spike. Earth Spike only giving you an extra 120 physical or magic damage, and another second of stun. So the extra mana drain level is going to really help here.
I mean, obviously, it's not nice to do it for the Medusa in the sense that mana shield is one of the big things. But do you think this is possibly why we're just seeing the 1 point come out in the mana shield? Because she knows in all reality, it's worth her doing more damage because the mana is not going to save her.
You could say that, but the same point goes for her getting more int from the stat points. I think it's worth getting more mana shield levels, honestly, because
Yeah.
I mean maybe in the early game the stat points are better, but because her mana pool is low comparative to how much mana Stone Gaze takes. But I think it's just going to be a really rough Medusa game. I think the Midas is honestly a little too greedy, but it's hard to say. They have so many counters and they have so much burst damage that it's going to be a tough game no matter what for her.
It's going to be a very tough game indeed for SFC, but I think they've had their fair share of tough games this series and proven that against all odds they can sometimes find a way. Eternal Envy back to Roshan, a little bit easier than it was in that 3-hour game. He's able to get the Aegis under his belt. Juggernaut, 1 kill, 0 deaths. He's got 2 assists, level 11, 14 minutes, 15 minutes coming up on the map. And if we have a look at the net worth at the moment, 7.5k on this Jug, but the Medusa with the Midas, she's keeping up in terms of farm.
But the issue is that her farm is really not accomplishing that much, I feel. Her
Yes.
damage is okay, but if she gets mana drained at all, it's like the fight's over, she doesn't do anything. She's way less threatening at this point than Eternal Envy is. His farm scares me so much more because you've got an Omni Slash, you have Healing Ward, you can just right-click one hero really hard. Medusa doesn't have the same allowances.
Yeah, I think, at this point of the game, it's quite easy to see who's going to come out on top if the fight does kick off, and SFC looks like they realise that. Pressure being put onto their tier 2, they're not sending anyone out at this point. They just feel that they can't do anything to stop the push. Their best hope is really just to find space for the Medusa to continue to farm so that they can look for a good team fight. I mean, we saw in that fight where they managed to get 1 kill, the Stone Gaze, it was pretty big. You know, it does force C9 to get themselves out of it. Anyone that gets caught in it, with the physical damage from the Shadow Fiend and the Venge and the Medusa added up on top, of course, with Venge, with the Vengeance Aura. Shadow Fiend, he's got any points in it? Yeah, he's got started to get points in the presence of the Dark Lord. I mean, you punch pretty damn hard.
He does hit really hard, but it's not going to be quite enough, and that's assuming that Medusa's ulti does latch on. I mean, at this point, it's very difficult for SFZ to be able to take a team fight, and if they do, there's a low chance they can win it, so they're just going to wait until the best moments. They've lost their opportunity to go even here due to C9's draft and C9's early laning stage, so they've got to play the annoying game where they, again, trickle. God, Nick's looking for a kill here. He's going to spot the SF.
Oh, we could certainly go for this. Invis is about to wear out, though. He goes for the stun straight off the bat. Yeah, that's all he's going to be able to do. Blinks out. Doesn't want to stick around any longer. Just give it the Shadow Fiend a little bit of a tap on the back. E back to the mid lane. 1500 gold coming up in the bank for himself. Mask of Manish, Yasha, Phase Boots, a killer. Completed. You can do a hell of a lot of damage at a hell of a lot of... really quickly. Medusa. Clearing out the camps. Been spotted out here. Omni Slash is available.
He's going a good item against the Juggernaut. It's Manta Style. Manta Style is all around a pretty good damage item on Medusa already. Most people opt for like a fast Scotty just because it gives you a little bit more in terms of survival. Scarif Mage's going line top lane. Line's been farming there a lot. Egg though.
Is he going to catch the Scarif? I think the stun might just mine it.
Oh, it's too late.
Oh, look at No Tail going for it though. Is the damage over time? Oh, it doesn't actually latch onto the Skyrath. Maybe they can get the Venge though. Chasing this down. Oh, hello. Swap from Venge there to protect. Well, what's going on? People are dying. SFC, Skyrath getting caught out in the trees. So did you get 2 kills in return for that after just losing the line?
That's not bad at all.
No.
Oh, he even got Blink Dagger, by the way. He bought it before he died, so they didn't accomplish that much other than getting some gold for the team. SF's on the mid lane, might have a setup here. Being line the stun, there's a Invis.
Oh, Misery coming in. Oh, that's it's
he spent all of his gold, so he couldn't get a dust. It's not really his fault there.
No. Yeah. You don't want to kind of be like, oh, I've got enough money for a BKB, I'm about to die. I don't want to buy it just in case I need the dust, yeah. Because the fact he's got...
just in case.
Blink at 18 minutes, and that's the Blink, so it's on the Nyx and the Lion at the moment. They've both got the initiations. So, I mean, SFC, they've certainly popped the game into hard mode. There's going to be a smoke up now from the Skyrath and the Venge. Can they find a kill here? Phoenix and Zeus are these targets that they want to go on. I don't think they do. They think about it, but the smoke gets busted, and they're going to back themselves back out of that one. And they're going to look for maybe a bigger fight now with Shadow Fiend. Still smoked up. He's going to break it. Goes to clear the wave. In the jungle, Eternal Envy continues to farm up, taking the farm away from SFC. And this is one thing that's really big, isn't it? If you're at a point where you're able to farm the enemy's jungle, you're creating such a huge difference in kind of just the momentum of the game, aren't you? Because suddenly, There's nowhere for SFZ to farm.
It actually makes it really, really hard. The only thing they can do is split pushing in other lanes if possible, like somebody coming top like Shadow Fiend has been. But it's pretty dangerous because if they anticipate that and they have Blink Daggers, which they do now, you really have to be concerned about getting picked off and when that happens, because that's going to force a bigger impact on the game, like a tier 2 tower fight or something like that they'll most likely win. Wow, Deuce's got no mana here at all.
Yep. Phoenix coming in with the Icarus dive. Is there any follow-up? Yes, the blink. There's the stun from Bone 7 onto the Vengeful Spirit, trying to turn this one around. Thunder God's Wrath comes down. There goes the dust. They're going to be able to find the Nyx, but it doesn't matter. 3 heroes are dead on the side of SFC. Skyrath goes down as well. It's only the Medusa who survives, and she's slithering back to base. And it's a 4-for-0 trade favouring Cloud9, and off the back of that, they should be able to take down the second tier 2 in a game that's only 20 minutes young.
This is a really nice initiation there by Bone 7. He missed the stun a little bit, but the important part was he drew a lot of fire because they thought that he was so out of position, and he was able to reflect a lot of damage with Spike Carapace, in addition to then the Zeus ulti dropping down. So that was a really good fight from C9. Again, they are stupidly far ahead in this game. The redemption that they have is the Medusa, but all she has is a Manta right now, and her damage isn't going to get scary until she has at least 2 items. So I think it's going to be really tough for SFC here to win this game. And you can see in C9's draft, none of them bought Midases. They're like, we're not taking this late game. We're just going to pick a strat that's really good in the mid game, has some good laning stage, and they're executing it really well.
Yeah, I don't know if we've mentioned this. Eternal Envy, of course, with the Manta, suddenly the Skyrath initiation isn't an issue. Anytime the Ancient Seal comes out, he's going to be able to fight back. And Zeus with a Bloodstone on top of the 4-star, 20 minutes in. C9.
Holds until the game's end over, pretty much. And if it goes to a 200-minute game, he's going to be respawning really fast.
That is true. He's going to be respawning before he even dies. It's going to be...
He's got enemy heroes have to die is the only thing. So, and there wasn't a whole lot of that going on last game.
That is true. Yeah, I think his Bloodstone would expire if the game ends up being like the last one. And Masquerade is popped by Yi. Is he going to be able to catch out Clutcher here? I think he might. Blink in. There's your stun. Few right clicks should seal the deal, and that's going to be a dead clockwork. And, well, the push down to the top lane. 21 minutes in. Maybe they can get the final tier 2 off the map. Take it away from SFC. And well, SFC with 1 hero down, even though it is just this Clock who hasn't been having a great game. I mean, they're not going to be able to stop this push, I don't feel. They're going to send the Skyrath in.
It's tough.
I think it's more than tough.
There's no way they'll get him.
It's impossible. They're not going to stop anything at the moment. C9 hammering down onto the tier 2. Medusa in the mid lane just trying to desperately find her farm. She's got 2.6k gold. Blink in. Well,
wow.
That's going to be a dead Skyrath. Look at the aggression here. Bone 7 forces himself back down to the low ground. Quista pops the Stone Gaze. Omni Slash comes out. Here comes your Supernova, keeping the heroes of SFC back. Can Shadow Fiend come back into this one? I don't know if he can. He's got enough mana for the healing ward. He's going to pop it out. Buyback now
Check
for
the
Medusa.
buybacks.
But we need to keep tabs on the buybacks in case the resets are happening. But Medusa, she has no Stone Gate. She can't offer a lot. Nice hook shot. 4 stuff though, keeping Big Daddy alive. There's the stun in return. He wants to go back in on this. Quista getting hexed up. I think this could be bordering on GG. Medusa getting very low. Can they keep her alive? She will be able to get out of that. Juggernaut actually goes down in this fight. State 2-1 ticking down here to the urn. Shadow charges. Looks for the stun. Misery's going to miss it though. And State 2-1, he's going to be able to get away with his life. I think, well, the fact that SFC were able to bring down the Juggernaut is what kind of stopped them from losing a set of racks there.
That was a very, very close hold there from SFZ. They almost lost the SF, they almost lost the Medusa as well, but both of them barely got away. There was a good fight by C9 either way though.
Yeah.
So I honestly thought the game could have ended there, but that was a really nice defense by SFC.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I was feeling that one. It was done and dusted, but 22 minutes into a game. That game would have been nearly 3 hours shorter than the previous. That is something, isn't it? That is quite something. Can games even be this short? Apparently so.
I think so, yeah. We have a Veil now on Phoenix.
Okay.
So he's quite farmed. It's going to boost up the Zeus damage by a huge amount.
Yeah, very nice.
See what Zeus picks up next.
And also,
the Bloodstone is just good to regen though. It's good.
Yeah.
I kind of wish he had an eggs maybe, but Bloodstone is just good for him not having to go back to base ever, pretty much.
I guess he's in a lineup where the team, obviously with a Lion, they're not going to be buying mana boots really on anyone. In fact, no one's actually got them. Neither the Nyx or the Phoenix needing to go for it at this point. Obviously, Tranquil's a little bit better with the fact that Phoenix likes to play with her health pool. And yeah, Nyx obviously opting for bigger things with the Blink and the Force Staff in his EE. He might just find this Medusa. He's not going to get
They saw the smoke. I believe, because they're pinging like crazy, and
They
they're
really
saying
are.
caution pings online.
Yes, I mean, these aggressive wars, very nice from C9. I mean, you've got to hand it to the supports of
set up.
Cloud9. Playing really
They
well
wanna
this
fight
series.
Almost ulti, but they didn't yet.
There we go.
There it
There's
is.
your
So now they know where they are. Interesting use of the ulti there, but they really don't want to get behind. They say, let's waste their smoke. Oh, E goes in on this.
But there's your Manta, there's your Omni Slash. He's going to try and fight into this. Can he find any kills? Shadow Air, fairly
so
low.
solo. Never
Oh,
mind.
Bone 7 looks for a Blink Stun. Is going to be able to find it. Stone Gaze, Clockwork coming in as well. State with the BKB doing a fair bit of damage. There's
This
your
is so
Supernova.
dead.
They need to turn and go on this. The BKB Shadow Finjay pounds through it. And it's a 3
That's a
for
gem.
3 trade. It's a 3 for 3
that
trade.
was not a good fight. He kind of thrown his life away there. He thought his team was a lot closer, or he just felt comfortable going with it.
Misery, he's got a
Reduces
finger.
mana.
I don't think it's going to be enough, yeah. Blinking out.
No, she
Doesn't
has
want to
mana.
fight that. Yeah.
That was not a good fight for C9 there. They're stupidly far ahead. They didn't need E to go that crazy running in. If the whole team was there at the start, it would have been good, but even No Tail threw his life away. That was his first death. He was 4-0, or he's like 4-0 and 11. He lost the gem as well. That was actually a big loss there for C9. That could definitely elongate the game. And that's unfortunate because I'm sure that Eternal Envy was like, we're so far ahead, let's just finish the game. And you get a little bit too ahead of yourself. And then you take a bad team fight like that, and your team tries to back you up. And one mistake can cause more mistakes. That's why attitude and what your morale is like for the game are so important, because it can just have big, long-standing effects.
Again, I don't know if we've mentioned it, but Eternal Envy, he did go for the Diffusal Blade.
Okay, good. Yeah, especially with Manta, it's a really good build actually, because then your illusions also
yeah.
mana burn. Gives them a
yes.
lot more damage. It only works for melees, but it works on Juggernaut. It's actually not that bad of a build to grab Diffusal Blade on Juggernaut. You can also unsilence yourself. If his Manta's already been used, you can remove that.
Yes.
A couple
yeah.
other good uses.
Indeed, and obviously just for the chase down potential as well. Double damage on the Nyx. Is he going to be able to find anyone with this Vendetta? Well, SFZ. I'm turtling pretty hard at the moment. 4 heroes in the base. Being very careful. In fact, well, Skyrath, I don't know. I don't think he got the memo. He's in a bit of trouble there. Bone 7, he's going to blink on this one. He doesn't want to chance it at this point. And SFC, I was going to say, they're going to smoke up from base, and they are going to do so indeed. Bone 7 gets a whole dust actually catching him out there. I don't know if that was just chancing it, or they'd obviously seen him with this. Well, no, he was under the cover of Vendetta.
No,
How
they
did
just
they know he was
smoked
there? They just...
smoke. The smoke broke.
Ah, okay. Yes, they lost it on state.
So that's a waste of 190 gold that Bone 7 just accomplished. Good for him. 1 dust, 1 smoke. Smoke obviously a lot more valuable there. BKB's picked up on Medusa. She's opted for the I need to cancel the mana drain at all costs, which is really going to hurt her damage output really heavily. You really don't want to pick up a BKB on this hero. It's like Scotty, maybe a Butterfly, one of those 2 items. Once she grabs those 3 items, she'll be really scary. But because she got the BKB, she's going to be quite delayed here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of holding off the push, the high ground defense isn't too bad with the old Medusa, is it? I mean, can C9, do you think they can easily take the high ground? What do they got to do? Kind of look for an aggressive blink in from either the Lion or the Nyx and try and look to kind of lock down and get the hexes onto the Medusa? Or do they wait until SFZ just come out of the base? Is it something that C9 don't want to be doing, pushing to the high ground at this point?
They can be aggressive. I think it's a little harder now because they lost that last fight. But we've got a refresher on Fada here. He's going to drop double ult.
Oh, wow.
He's already level 16, so that's going to do 475 damage times 2. That's like 900 magic damage to the entire enemy team. And Venge has 891 HP. So essentially, if you do a Veil first on these guys and
you're
Zeus
dead.
double ultis, that's 2 dead heroes. Both Skyrath and the Venge would just die right off the bat. And especially if you do that before they BKB, then you're talking about lowering everybody's HP by at least half. Except for like Medusa, obviously. So I think they need to go aggressive. They just need to find the right opportunity. Maybe Veil, initiate with some stuns, pick off 2 supports right at the start, force buybacks, and then maybe back up, play safe again, wait for cooldowns.
They might look for the opportunity here. Juggernaut smoked up in the sidelines, so is the Phoenix. Maybe hoping that perhaps an initiating Hook shot will come out, but there we go.
No
In fact,
BKB.
Quista, she's out of mana. She's dead. There's your double ult. Fata, so much damage at this point. Scarf's going to go down as well. Envy trying to clear up on the back lines. Magic Missile is going to connect, but here's Bone 7. There's the heal from Phoenix, and 24-6, 29 minutes in. You're potentially going to lose your racks here. Fortification will be popped, but your Medusa's dead for 60 seconds, and your supports and Clockwork down for 20. Buyback's available, and it's going to be used. I mean, you talked about the BKB hindering the growth of the Medusa in terms of damage. Well, that buyback, that's not going to be any kind of help at all. Stone Gaze is going to get popped. Can they find any kills here? Misery getting fairly low. He will go down. That's going to be the gem on the deck, but Shadow Fiend nearly goes down to the right clicks of Envy, pops the Shadow Blade, and maybe thinks about turning this one around. There's your Diffusal Blade charge. There's your punches. He's being kept alive by Big Daddy. Oh, he's relieving himself all over him, and he spins out with the Earnest Shadow charges as well. TPing aggressively now from the Medusa. Oh, it's actually cancelled, and now it's just the Clockwork on the front lines, and Big Daddy gets forced off down to the low ground, and all in all, Big Daddy keeping E there alive. That was some big plays there.
Veil's down. They could maybe go back in, but Derby's pretty low. That was such a good fight, though. I mean, the important part was that they went in before Medusa popped BKB. If you do that, she's wasting 4,000 gold. Her mana got drained immediately, and then the fight's over, pretty much. Even if they saved her, they would have allowed them to get a couple more kills. So that's buyback now. The hero's even more far behind. The BKB really hasn't paid off super hard, but the main issue is that she was just too far forward. She needed to be farther back there in that fight.
Yeah, and well, he just trying to keep the push on the front lines, and at the end of the day, with the old Sunray, that's what it's called. Oh, hook shot to Bone 7. Bone 7 getting cogged back. He will get bursted down. That is going to be a kill there for the side of SFZ. It looks like the rest of C9, they don't wish to fight into this one. 30 seconds until Omni Slash is back off cooldown. He's sitting on a lot of money as well. 4,000 gold in the bank. So what do you go for next on this Juggernaut 30 minutes in?
You could get a Butterfly here that synergizes really well with the other agility items you're getting. Your illusions will do a lot, but it's probably better if you get Scotty instead. Those are the two options, Scotty or Butterfly synergize really well with illusions. And this is going to be a Scotty game, I think. Diffusal Blade doesn't count as an orb anymore, and Mask of Madness doesn't override with Scotty either, so Scotty is going to give him 750 HP or 700 HP, whatever it is, and it's also going to give him the slow, and it's going to give him the lifesteal and the mana drain. That's like, if you think about Dota like 3 years ago, maybe, or even Dota 1, you couldn't stack all three of those items. You couldn't stack any of them together on a melee hero, but now you can do all three, and it really just shows how good the synergy is, because almost everybody builds that right now. Manta Scotty with lifesteal, very common.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly an interesting change when they decided to allow diffuse. But they just stopped diffusal from being a unique attack modifier, didn't they? And then that allowed.
Yeah, but diffusal is rarely built, is the
Yeah.
reason. So they were trying to allow more uses here.
And I guess when you're playing against a Medusa, it certainly works in your favor, the change. It certainly works indeed. And let's have a look at the graphs. 25 to wait. 32 minutes in coming up. It's about 16k in terms of XP lead. Gold-wise, coming up to about the 17.5k lead as well. It's a definite one. And one that SFC are going to have a hard time bringing back, and it does really rest on this Medusa, who now looks to be picking up, well, with the first ultimate orb there after the Manta Star, looking to go into the Skadi herself, I can only imagine.
Scotty's the way to go. The amount of, not only do you get 750 HP out of a Scotty, but you also get a stupid amount of mana as well. 25 int and 150 extra mana points in addition to that. So if you translate the HP and the mana that you get together, it really increases her survivability while also increasing her damage by 25 and increasing the damage of all of her illusions. It's a great synergistic item. So Scotty will be the item. The item after that is almost guaranteed to be a Butterfly. I'm sure Envy will have his MKB ready at that point, but it's what Medusa needs to do as much AoE damage and take up as much as possible.
Yeah, I think because they've got a Medusa, they're still definitely in this game. I mean, I really think Medusa is such a powerful hero in terms of defending against these pushes, especially 32 minutes in. And the fact that her farm really, in relation to what C9 have got, it isn't that bad now, 32 minutes in. It's only 500 gold or so behind the Juggernaut. And it's just whether C9 can get the jump. And they're going to go for it, but the BKB straight away. That reaction time there from Quista. He was ready, and now C9, they've got to be careful. Quista getting the damage out with a split shot. Here comes your Omni Slash. There comes your first two shot. Oh, there's your...
It's going to live? No, it doesn't.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Have they got detection? They popped down the W for the Zeus, trying to scout it out. Buyback from Clockwork. 3 heroes off the map. No buyback, of course, for this Juicer. This is going to be your first set of racks going down, 33 minutes in. The creep wave is pushing in on the mid lane as well. C9 could very easily decide to go for more here. The punches from the Shadow Fiend with his Skadi doing a little bit to hold them back, but Fata, he's not scared. Goes right up to the fountain and gives them a good old lightning zap. And he heads to the mid lane now. Hasn't got the healing ward available for 30 seconds, but well, as farmed as he is, I don't think he's going to be too worried about that. In come the punches onto the tower. Medusa still down for 50 seconds. Can SFZ fight with the Medusa down, Purge?
It's really tough. Shadow Fiend can do damage and things like that. Hookshot's going to whiff actually catches the allies. They need to get a kill there, but they're not going to. So with no Medusa, they can defend the mid racks, but C9's gonna have to back off as well. So it's not terrible, but she's only got 900 gold. She's bought back at least once already this game. She's not that close to Scotty. If they win another fight, she'll have it maybe, but in the same vein, C9's gonna be accelerating right now. Envy's got 1500 past the Scotty he just made, so he's already like an item and a half ahead of what Medusa is.
Yeah, I swear.
That's what it feels like, at least.
It literally was a minute ago, there was about 500 gold difference. Now it's 2.5k. Yeah, Eternal Envy, he's finding that farm. 7 kills, 7 assists so far in the game. It's going to be Yazoo Salt zoning them out, checking where SFC are at this moment, seeing if they're going for any kind of aggressive smokes, but they're chilling in their base for the time being. And Dusa frantically trying to find the farm to get herself towards that, well, ideally the first big damage item after the Manta Star. Because she needs to punch a little bit harder if she wants to deal with the Jug at this point in the game. What's coming out to him? Is it the upgraded diffusal that we see him like, yep, I guess again, this game, rather than waiting for the charges, just opting for that extra 15 agility and 4 intelligence, which, I mean, as you were saying, you'd argue, it's just in case the game doesn't go too great, is it better really to hang on to those charges and the stat gain's not worth making that jump at this point?
It's not that big of a deal for Juggernaut because he doesn't really rely on the charges. If you're playing like Ricky Maru or something like that, I really recommend charges. Fight top.
Yeah, indeed, they're certainly looking for it. There's your hook shot, catching out Misery. Can they do this? Clutch are popping the Blade Mail as well. It's going to be hard to go back in. Is Big Daddy going to pop the Supernova? No, he's been silenced up by the Ancient Seal. They did pop the Stone Gaze as well here, and they're only going to get one. C9 are going to be able to get everyone else out of there. Meanwhile, Fata keeps the pressure on in the mid lane, and Eternal Envy coming in as well. So 29 to 11. They kill No Tail. No Tail's out the fight for a good minute. I guess that's something for SFC.
You might be able to catch somebody though. 1-7's moving through. Do they have a sentry? They do. They see him. No stun.
Nice silence there, but the rest of C9 coming in. They're going to be able to find the kill on the Vengeful Spirit. She gets out a Magic Missile and a Wave of Terror. It's not going to be enough. And E on the front lines, ready to push this lane now to the high ground. Healing Ward ready to pop in tow. Lion says, can I steal some mana? And E says, no, the farm is mine. Of course, get popped down defensively. Are they going to be able to hold this? No Stone Gaze, of course, for 40 seconds after that fight on the Phoenix. And, well, here comes the pressure. No fortification available either for the side of SFC as they do start to lose the tier 3. And here comes State. He really wants to just waltz in and make something happen. But with this build, the BKB and Shadowblade into the Eye of Skadi, we're obviously not seeing the Yules build that we pretty much see on the majority of Shadow Fiend games. So there's not going to be that form of initiation, being able to hold someone in place. And, well, talking about holding in place, there's your Omni Slash. Look at that Omni Slash. There goes your mid-hero, Medusa. She's got Stone Gaze available in 5 seconds, but she hasn't got the mana for it. The damage coming through with the Diffusal being such a huge pickup. There's your second ult. 3 heroes, 4 heroes down on the side of SFC. My Russian's not great, but I think NN means GG. And Purge, we made it to the end of the first best of 3. We did it, my friend.
I mean, this was only supposed to be done 3 hours ago, but we made it. Third game. You could really see C9 was the better team in the end. I mean, game 2 was just a really weird game. They had an advantage in that game, but they just had a little bit of trouble clearing it out. In game 3, they were firmly in control, except for that one fight by the top order and where Eternal Envy really wanted the game to end. So nicely played by C9. You can definitely see they're a fantastic team. Solid plays from every single member of their team. They're all really good players, and they do take the best of 3 victory. And this was actually a 6.5 hour best of 3. So wow. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you for watching indeed. And you can, of course, follow us on Twitter. Myself at ODPixel, Purge, of course, at Purge Gamers. And Purge, do we actually know, have we got another series, or did it happen? Are they still waiting for us?
You know more than me. I'll check right now, okay? And I'll let you know.
Well, let's have a look on Dota 2 Lounge. That will help us.
I'm not seeing the lobby.
Okay.
They might have changed the password though.
HR versus Vega apparently started 5 minutes ago, according to Dota 2 Lounge. The stream that it's on is apparently this one. So I don't think that's right, because I don't think I'm casting Hellraisers versus Vega at this moment in time. If we have a look at the ticket, what's the status? There are no live games on the ticket.